Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Sketchy Ideas, the live point counterpoint video podcast where we illustrate, debate concepts surrounding leadership, personal development, business, you name it. We even throw in some movies. So for those of you who like movies, we kind of talk about that stuff too on occasion when we get them right. But at the end of the day, our goal with this show is to make you think twice before you implement that brand new idea you just found on the interwebs. Hi, I'm Brad James.
And I'm Michael Rampola.
And we're your hosts today. And today we're going to talk about mindset mottos and how you can turn them into behavioral habits and take the thinking and actually make it doing. But before we do that, let's get a word from our sponsors. First, hey, so if you've got a business, you probably think you got to be in charge of everything, right? Well, you're probably wrong. Even the most organized people need some help sometimes. Whether it's you don't have time to keep up on social media, you haven't figured out your brand yet, you're trying to work on a website, anything, all of those things, maybe you're trying to figure out ways to acquire new clients. Our experienced creative team at Cream City Marketing can help you relieve the stress around everything marketing, all right? We work with you to eliminate the stress around those things by giving you quality content, quality strategies to make sure you get in front of your ideal customers so you can reach your goals. Cream City Marketing will handle the stress so you can do the rest and focus on the things that you're good at. Reach out to Aaron today at aaron@creamcitymarketing.com. Over to you, my friend.
All right. Sketchy Ideas is also powered by Spirity. As a business leader and a business owner, you are responsible for the success of your organization. Spirity offers the one application-driven strategic business transformation system that aligns your team and culture to keep everyone executing the right tasks and activities at the right times. As a result, you will optimize organizational behavior, which leads to consistently achieving and reaching and exceeding your business objectives. Connect with us at spirity.com.
All right. And today we have some special news. You might see this really sketchy drawing behind me. But we're actually on LinkedIn Live, friends. So for those of you who may not like the big blue platform, you can go to the other big platform for professionals. Or if you like the YouTube, you can go there, or the Twitch, or any of those places. We like to be everywhere, including if you're listening to this later and it's not Wednesday at 1:30, you're probably listening to us on a podcast. So, but we wanted to give an announcement. We figured out if you got questions about how we got this done, email us at info@sketchyideashow.com, and we can definitely at least have a little conversation and give you a little bit of guidance about how our wonderful producer figured out, along with some partnership over with Caroline, to get this thing done. All right. With that, hey, let's dive into this. So I want to preface this whole thing with Michael's been on a little bit of a tear right now with this whole thing. He's really working hard because he's heard all of the words and all of the things and everything dealing with coaching. And don't get me wrong, he likes them, but I think he's getting a little irritated by the fact that at the end of the day, all of the people who keep throwing these back at him aren't actually making the progress that they're saying, like 80-20, 10X, seeing is believing, dream big, think and grow rich, you name it. He's heard it. I have too. And so we're actually going to start diving into these today with Michael's expertise about how to actually take the mindset and flip it into actionable behavior to build habits. Did I get that right?
That actionable behavior that makes it, because we were talking about the OG of this, right? Okay, so the OG of mindset, think and grow rich. It's right there in the title. Think, grow rich. Cool. Like I'm in for that. I would love to think myself rich. We all know that's not how it works.
For a long time.
Right? I've been thinking about money for years. Still not rich. So good in theory, but I know that that's the title, but I know that that's not what's really behind that headline. What's behind that headline is how mindset impacts behavior that drives results. It's the mindset results. It's that part in the middle. It's the behavior. It's the what am I doing about it that I think too often gets missed. And if you're doing the Cliff's Notes version of something like 80-20 is my example that happens. Not everybody, lots of people have heard and believe they understand the 80-20 rule. Oh yeah, it's like 80-20. Sure. Do you know where it comes from? Do you know what it means? Are you applying it correctly? And are you doing something with that?
And does it work?
And does it work? And does it apply in this situation and produce real results? I don't know, but it sounds good to say, oh, it's like 80-20. People say, oh yeah. Oh, 80-20. Oh, okay. And then, and what are you going to do with that? So I think that's where these, and no fault. Okay, so let me give props to every mindset for being great at marketing. Let me give proper dues to the mindsets for being really good at marketing themselves, right?
And helpful. Let's not discount the fact that they're helping to categorize and they actually do help because you do have to have a good mindset that helps you continue building all that stuff. And I know we'll get into this, and you and I disagree on some things and agree on some others. So this will be a little fun because we haven't actually dove all the way into this conversation. So be prepared, friends.
It's no fun if we agree all the time. I mean, really. Right?
I don't know, man. It's kind of nice to be on the
conflict.
same page all the time.
Once in a while, maybe. I can agree to agree with you some of the time.
I don't know if it's caught that.
So here's the thing about these. So you're right. The mindsets do produce results. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't just be nice headlines, right? They actually do produce results when we get the part in the middle right. But I think the biggest thing that I run into is, and I guess you can correct me if I'm wrong from your experience. Not correcting me because I'm not wrong. From your experience, you might have seen different things. To clarify,
that is yet to be seen, my friend.
To clarify, if your experience has shown you otherwise, I'm open to hearing about it. In my experience, these good in theory mindsets too often, unfortunately, don't get put to paper. We don't turn from theory to application and plan. It's all qualitative and not quantitative, and therefore there is no result to speak of, or I can't point it back to a mindset, depending.
Well, I think this is where the crux of the argument is, because here's the deal. All of those things you put up there are books about those all. Yep. Some of them that you haven't put up there. I've read most of them. I can't say I've read books. I don't have a book on like 1%. I don't actually recall a book that actually describes that and is like a theory, but I know the theory, right? But I do know, this is where if you're reading books and you only get halfway through the book, you probably haven't gotten to the actual tangible stuff. So
you know what? My best example of that is the Growth Mindset book. Have you ever attempted to read? I say attempted. Have you ever attempted to read the Growth Mindset book?
I actually have.
How far did you get? Let's just be honest here.
I got about 2/3 of the way, and then I had to find Cliff Notes.
And why is that, Brad?
It's just hard to get through. Not written great.
No, it's not. It's written terribly because it's all about all the studies, and 2/3 of the book or more is spent telling me why growth mindset is a thing. And it's like, I bought in from the summary introduction page. I'm like, I get it. This makes perfect sense. Now what? And the more than half of the book is spent recounting other studies that reprove the point. You got me. You sold me. Now what?
So I think this is where, all right, before we dive into this whole thing and before the chats blow up with like, you're wrong, you suck, Go away, Michael. You're wrong.
That's just a typical Wednesday.
I want to. Yeah, I know. Only Wednesday? You only deal with that on Wednesdays? Lucky you.
Higher volume.
Yeah, right. I think here the big thing is this: is that leverage these books, right? Like this is the book I always have with, right? Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People.
There you go.
These are textbooks. Now, the problem with textbooks in the way that we describe textbooks is they're academics who are going through science and concepts and theories, and we're told we got to read through in detail. No, textbooks and books that we're describing here, they're meant to be like handbooks, okay? Where they're chunked out into different pieces, right?
Yes.
This is another one. Daniel Pink, To Sell is Human, right? Like these are all books that I talk to people about and I use when they're going through my sales training because they're really good at breaking things down. And in that portion, I make them read through it all in detail. But once you've read through them once, or even if you can't get through it once, right? Whether it's on tape or not, the point is that these are guidebooks. It's like I was an Eagle Scout, right? Boy Scout Handbook is not a book designed to read end to end. It's designed to be a handbook. So it's a guidebook. It's one that you put on the shelf when you're done, or even if you haven't gotten through it, it's a resource where you flip to the right chapter and you look at the things that you need at the right moment in time. It's the whole point of learning as you go through, right? Like if all you did was read books all day and didn't apply anything, which by the way is what most people do, you're just reading for knowledge, not reading for actually application, which is what Michael's trying to get at here. So I'm bringing this up purely out of the fact that I don't want you to blow up the chat saying, you guys suck, you're not following the instructions. So this is your disclaimer for this episode. Is that fair?
Sure.
Is that a fair disclaimer?
Yeah. We need a field manual. For the workshop I'm doing tomorrow, I was looking up a little bit about like the Army. You ever seen the Army Field Manual to Survival? It's a very practical, right? You're not supposed to read that thing cover to cover. You're supposed to figure out the situation you're in, right? Find the application. Now go put it back in your bag and roll on, right?
They're guidebooks.
They're guidebooks. So we need a field manual to mindsets because I need to be able to apply it in the field, in the moment when I am under fire or when it really matters, when the stakes are high.
Right. Yep.
It's not a good time to start digging through the theory of a textbook. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we need.
My point was just to lay it out.
No, I'm glad you did, because this seems to be the gap that I continually run into. A lot of the things that we talk about, I guess I'll even put 7 Habits, but I think 7 Habits, at least from my experience, gets to application.
There's 1,000 books out there. There's the 4-Hour Work Week. There's all this stuff that actually lays out the tactical, but it all starts with mindset. And the idea with the mindset is you're prefacing it so that you can buy into the tactical, because buying into the tactical and doing the tactical is the risky part of it. Having it as a thought experiment is fun. That's all it is.
But that's all it is. It's fun. It can be fun. But it's not a game.
Right. Well,
it's not a game.
It could be a game.
Could be a game. The movie reference. Somebody pick it up. All right. So and you make a great point about the book, because I just did a workshop for 5 dysfunctions. If anybody's something like that, put that up here too.
Great book.
Great book. Starts with a fable, right? That makes the point. And then it does say, now here's what to do with it. If you stop at the end of the fable and don't get into the application part, you're stuck and you've got a fun story to tell and you understand the importance, but you're not doing it.
Yeah.
You're not any more
Same thing with radical brilliance. The same thing with radical brilliance. Now this is also where I will say this, because writers have begun to figure it out. Like, so in the books that I've written, like with cryptocurrency or sales, those books all they're broken up into chunks, and then there's activity with the chapter, because you do need the theory in order to actually understand sometimes why the activity works. But anyway, I have totally hijacked your argument against these things, and I think I got you to buy in because I'm a marketer.
I actually think that I actually believe that I allowed you to hijack and prove my point for me. So I don't know if we're. I'm pretty sure you agree with me because you just said most of these books don't get into the application.
They do. They do.
Okay, so maybe is it a user error? Is it user error? Is that the problem?
It is a lot. I think a lot of it is user error.
Well, okay, so I'm going to do it's both. I'm going to do this. It's theory, and then by the way, like appendix is where application comes in. This is my table of contents for most mindset books.
Yeah. Yep. I think there's a lot of that, and especially in the older books. Yes.
Oh, by the way,
like, hey, we worked through all the theory. Yeah.
Here's 2 pages of how to do it.
Yep.
I think that's the problem. So is it user error or is it theoretician? What is the name for a person with a theory?
Philosopher.
That guy. Is it philosopher error or user error? Where do we lay the blame for mindsets not being applicable? Both. We share in the blame. Okay.
Both, because it's all about understanding your audience. Marketing.
Okay. So philosophers are bad marketers. You heard it here first, folks. Or they good marketers? Some of them are. Or are they good marketers because they're selling all the books with the nice covers and the first 2/3 of it are theory, but they don't. Here's an honest question. Do they know how to apply it? Like, okay, to the philosopher, is the problem potentially that the philosopher doesn't know how to apply it? It is just good in theory?
I think it depends on the philosopher.
Okay, which means we as the user have to take some of the burden or responsibility of properly evaluating philosophy A versus B through Z to see which one might best apply in current situation.
Yeah, I mean, it happens in coaching, in almost anything, right? In music, in sports, in anything, right? Even I've learned of this new practice recently that I'm intrigued by, and I've had some discussions about. It's called breathing. Like it's
breathing. I've heard of breathing.
Yeah.
How's that working out for you?
It's breathwork. Breathwork is the technical
you're
term.
Being serious. I thought you were being cute. You're being serious.
No, I'm dead serious.
I've heard of this thing called breathing. I'm like, I've heard of breathing. I hear it's pretty good.
Breathwork. Breathwork.
Tell me,
is something that is.
Tell me about that.
Breathwork has to deal with spirituality and breathing in. It's basically the premise or preface before most of us start meditation or dealing with other things. But breathwork specifically and breathing into focused areas is supposed to relieve different stresses and different points based on energies, right?
Okay.
And so depending on your beliefs around spirituality or religion or any of that stuff, it can mean different things. But at the end of the day, when you look at breathwork based on my understanding recently and trying to dissect it with my science mind a little bit, is you're triggering parts of the body that may not be triggered. Just like when I used to talk about TRE, trauma and tension release exercises, basically letting your body do the shaking thing to release anxious energy, right? Similar thing. You're tapping into the biological nature of what your body's actually built to do. We're just calling it breath work to give it a category. Right. So, I mean, it works. It seems like it works some of the time. Sometimes it seems like if you don't buy into it, it won't work. So that's where the mindset piece matters.
All right. I will give you that because you're absolutely right. Okay, so it's right. Sales. If I don't believe in the product I'm selling, I'm not going to be as good at selling it, right?
Correct.
When I work with business owners, doing it. Thank you. When I work with business owners, there's definitely a subconscious barrier. If I don't believe my team has the capacity or the capability to deliver on what I'm selling, it's typically subconscious, not part of my actual awareness of what I'm doing, but I typically undersell or just sell less because I'm worried about delivery on the back end.
Yes.
So belief does matter. I have to believe it's going to work for it to work. I do agree with that. I have to believe that that my team can back up my sale for me to be an effective salesperson. So select, I guess I have to add select, understand. So I guess probably it's actually number one is
and to clarify, I think your argument was the fact that I'll use an example. Michael, when we were talking about this, was saying everybody says 10x this, 10x that, 10x this. I'm 10xing stuff. And Michael's question to me was like, what the beep does that mean?
It sounds really good, right? I'm going to 10x it. Okay. You're going to literally do 10 times the work in the same amount of time. I've got a theory about a bag and some manure that we should talk about if you're going to 10x them.
Grant is a very good marketer, okay? He's a very good self-promoter, right? And he's built this brand of 10xing, right? On the other hand, he also has proven that the activities work. Now, the challenge is most people, and this is where you're saying, don't actively do what the motto is saying to do.
Right. So how are we validating if it's any good or not? And okay, so I will even allow that some of these theories are good in practice.
Yeah.
But we don't get to practice. We don't get to application.
Right. Well, that's the hard work.
I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm sorry. And there, right there, is one of the big failings of mindsets. Mindsets are not good at marketing themselves because they're calling themselves a mindset.
Yes.
Hello, mindset. Mindset. Your problem is that you call yourself a mindset, which by its definition has nothing to do with action. And you wonder why people aren't taking action based on your mindset. Listen, mindset, we got to talk about your brand. Because
I'm picturing a graphic. Just keep talking. I'm listening. Right. I'm going to take a shot at this.
I'm talking to mindset right now. Listen, mindset, we got to talk about your brand. Your brand isn't doing any favors right now. Your brand mindset is that thinking is enough. And you know, in reality, that that's just the first step. And if you stop by just calling yourself mindset, you're wondering why people aren't taking action. You're not encouraging them to take action. You're setting yourself up for failure. You're creating your own barriers to your success. So mindset, we need to talk about rebranding package, because you're actually cutting yourself off at the knees. You're actually making it hard for people to get the benefit from you because you're not telling them what they need to do to get to it. And what do we got? I need to do. Oh, I like that. That's good. I need to do. I don't understand. I thought I was supposed to think. Very nice. Very nice. That. A do set.
Brian, I expect to see that on the social medias.
All right, let's on the medias. Let's improve. Let's help Mindset Inc. with a little bit of a rebranding. What would be a better way? So current brand mindset. Yeah, okay, we know the challenge. Do set, action set. I don't like any of these, by the way. That's why it's a brainstorm. What are these really? What are the mindsets? Because if they stop at mindset and they don't get applied, they're not doing anybody any favors. How do we help Mindset Inc.?
Their action philosophy.
Oh, okay. Action philosophy. I'm digging that idea.
They're processes, right?
They are processes.
They are.
I dropped 7 habits. Covey always called them principles, right?
Yep,
these are principles which are not applied. And in my understanding, the way I think of the word principle, need to be applied, right? You need to apply the principle. It's kind of in the terminology there, right? And I think people get stuck because they don't. Our show is measuring. They don't apply, therefore they cannot measure. If I don't apply, and I don't have a current state and a desired state and a check results, I cannot measure results because I just stay in my mindset. And if I'm not actually applying the mindset, here's the other risk. Let's say I go read 10X. Cool. And then I have a really good month.
Good book.
I believe you. Let's say you can tell how much of it I've read. Let's say that I have a really good couple months right after I read the book, right? And now but I don't do anything. I've read the book and I understand it, but I don't 10X my actual behaviors. But now but I missed application. What's the problem is now, the risk is that I'm going to incorrectly attribute my results to my new mindset when in reality my behavior hasn't changed, which means I'm not going to get consistently good results. I might have had a good couple months, but it has nothing to actually do with my mindset because the mindset unapplied is nothing. A mindset unapplied has
knowledge.
no value.
It's knowledge. It's knowledge, but it will not give you results. Yeah.
Great.
So,
that's like,
yep.
Bank. It's good to have, but if you're not doing anything, if you're not investing it, you're getting no return.
Yeah. Well, it's the point of, like, if you read a lot of what Robert Kiyosaki says, it's the same type of thing. It's like, these are just philosophies until you start actually applying them. I mean, that's the premise of most of the stuff of his that I've read. Mm-hmm. Like, we can talk about mantras, we can talk about all this stuff, but if you don't start doing it, it doesn't matter. And so this is why companies bring in consultants to go, hey, we're going to teach you this new way of doing things, we're going to implement it. But then when they leave, what ends up happening is that the reinforcement doesn't stay behind.
Right.
And so you basically get, it's this weird, right? Like, if this is a graph of, if this is effectiveness, right?
Okay.
And this is time.
Got it.
And this is starting point, right?
Yep.
Kind of goes like this. The consultant's there. Okay, cool. Now we're gaining traction.
All right.
We've hit.
Sweet.
This is desired. This is desired result.
Yep.
It hits there. Most of the time, it goes past it a little bit, and then they go, "Great, we don't need you anymore.
We're good,
consultant.
We're good.
We're good.
Now. We're good."
And then it stays there for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it does like this.
All right. I don't know if I've shared this before. I call that the medication paradox. If you've ever taken a prescription medication, there's a point at which it's doing its job so well that you forget that it is the medication that actually got you to that point, right?
Yes.
Same thing with things. We're good now. Consultant, go. Coach, you're excused. And then we wonder why we backslide. And the unfortunate part on the person, the practitioner there, the unfortunate thing is they then discount the value of the coach or the medication to get like, well, gosh, I'm right back where I started. What was that coach wasn't worth anything, or that medication didn't do anything. Okay. I want to go back in time to the point that you stopped and see what happens before and after. Because that's the thing. Results, data, track it. If you're not, here's the thing. All these mindsets probably have some value. If you're not applying them,
they do have value.
They do. If you're not applying them and checking your results, though, I don't know if it's doing any good, and you're not going to be able to sustain it.
Yeah. So here's where I'm seeing you're saying, and this is a great introductory episode to dive in for next week, because we're going to come back and Michael's going to dissect this even further to begin to build out some of the principles that you can actually take this stuff and turn it into activity or initial activity and scaling activity into habits. Right. And through understanding that goal setting of what you're trying to get to maintain productivity, right? So,
because
I don't really
want you good in theory only. I want you good in reality.
Yes, right. Theory is great. Theory is fun. We talk a lot about it here, but this is also how Michael and I do what we do. Is we work at it and we build in habits. We do it very differently. I will say that, which is totally okay. It's just a matter of Michael's trying to help you bridge the gap from the mindset piece to actually initial activity next week. And then after that, we'll dive into it more. And I was laughing because Brian Omeg sent that comment to us about how we went from business to talking drugs in an instant. So thank you, Brian.
That's not a long leap. Let's just be honest.
But on that note, we are out of time today, Michael. So
that was fun. All right, I'm looking forward to taking this down next time, because basically, okay. So, let's put it this way. Let me be fair. Somebody watching this meta would say, "You just did what you said you're not supposed to do. You just laid out the theory of the theory, but you didn't apply it. You're right. You got to come back."
Called marketing.
Because this is great marketing. You got to come back, because I know that if you stop at this point of the book, you're going to feel really good, but you're not going to be able to get real results. And we want real results for you. So come back.
Yes.
Philosopher and user, come back, please. And we are going to help you select, apply, check, and get better, because that's the whole point. All right.
It is.
I've given my
Brian, did we miss anything? I think we gave multiple disclaimers. Brian, did we miss anything?
Nope, everything's good.
Everything's good. All right. So Brian's keeping us on task. All right. So here's the deal. You learned about mindsets. We laid out some of them. We've given our positions on this stuff in terms of it is valuable, but the value really comes in the implementation. And more often than not, the connection between the mindset and the implementation is typically a foggy area. And we tend to forget that in order to make sure that these mindset practices work, like Think and Grow Rich, actually continue by making sure that you do the activity. So next week, Michael's going to help us translate some of these details and share with you. He's actually going to go into more of what he does with a lot of his clients in order to help you take mindset and flip it into action, so that you actually get the results that the mindset and the marketing says you'll get, right? And here's why this is important for all of you, because all of you, if you're not working with a coach right now, realistically, you need to be working with a coach depending on what your goals are. Because at the end of the day, a coach, if you've ever been coached, if you've ever had teachers, coaches, mentors, parents, their job really is to help you build the accountability and lay out the plan of how to achieve that mindset aspect for you, so you don't have to think about it and you're just doing it. So Michael's going to help you, for those of you who don't want to work with a coach, get to that point, right? But if you like this show this week and you're coming back next week, please take a screenshot if you're listening on a podcast, share the links to the episodes. They are recorded. They live on LinkedIn. They live on YouTube. They live on Facebook. They live in a lot of different places. Share with your friends, okay? And if you really enjoyed this, we would like to hear your comments and questions, concerns, telling us how stupid we are or how smart we are. We really like those. You can either drop them in the comments below or email us at info@sketchyideashow.com. And one of us, probably Brian Omig, will get back to you sooner than we do, where we can actually begin a discussion and a dialogue. We really enjoy that. In fact, that's how we've gotten a lot of our guests on our show early on. And we're getting some really cool guests coming on in the future. We're just trying to figure out scheduling. But until next week, when we actually dive into taking your mindset and turning it into action, we hope you enjoyed this show. And we'll come back next week where we're live on LinkedIn at 1:30 Central Standard. And remember, just because it's a sketchy idea doesn't mean it's not worth exploring. We'll see you next week.